Hey friends, it's Pastor Zach here for our Midweek Devotional. I'm here just outside of our pumpkin patch. So if you see behind me, our pumpkin patch, but I wanted to film outside this week, but it's already open and busy, and we've got a couple machinery things moving around out there because of the yard, and so I'm in here in the sanctuary today just to be a little bit more quiet. And so I want to welcome you to this time, and we are continuing in our midweek devotional through going through some of our Wesleyan heritage and some of those Wesleyan core terms that we are going through. And so today we're talking about holiness, which has two aspects, which is personal holiness and also social holiness. Now, holiness comes when we start to have faith in Jesus and we want to start living a life that is pleasing to God, and we totally dedicate ourselves to God, and then we remove and cut off anything from our life that disconnects us from God, that pollutes us or defiles us in the eyes of God, or makes us want to pull away. And so that is what holiness is, and that's what John Wesley, one of the things that he kind of stressed in his life and his ministry. And he stressed two different aspects of it. First is personal holiness or inward holiness. It's the cleansing of the cleansing and renewing of our hearts and our minds that begins with faith, and when God starts working in our life and we're going through that sanctification process like we talked about last week, that's personal holiness. Things that make us more holy, things that make our heart start to love God with all of our mind and soul and strength, right? Now, once we have that holiness, that personal holiness, that inward holiness working in our life, then we are able to show that holiness out in an outward way. And that is what social holiness is. And John Wesley said that social holiness is living that holy life, loving our neighbors as ourselves as a response to loving God in our hearts. Then that is how we show it on the outside, by living a holy life. And so how are you living a holy life, both in inner holiness and also in outward holiness, both personal and social? Because we are not made to be isolated creatures that only worry about our own personal, path of salvation or our own personal holiness, but we are social beings that are created by God to be in groups of people, and that's what we're called to do as Christians, but also as good United Methodists. And I want to call you to work on that, both your inner holiness and your social holiness. And one good way about working on your social holiness, my friends, and I know this is a kind of a shorter devotional for this week, but I'm going to get back out to the pumpkin patch. But that's a way to work on social holiness, about reaching out to our neighbors and to our community by offering them some pumpkins also, but getting them here at the church building and working in service. And so the pumpkins are here, my friends, but let's work on our holiness, both inwardly and outwardly, this coming week. But I hope you have a good rest of your week, but that's all I have. And so I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.